Rare Beauty is finally in the UK. You don't know how many creators I have seen posting products and tutorials and reviews of Rare Beauty products, and I have wanted to try it so badly, and now she is finally here and I'm really excited. So I went a bit over the top and actually bought quite a lot of products, so we're going to be trying them on my face. A little heads up, Space NK doesn't actually stock every single product from Rare Beauty. There was a few things I wanted to pick up but just weren't there. Stuff like the highlighter, which they did have. The shades that would have suited me were already out of stock when I bought them, so I don't have everything. The newer launches like the powder and bronzer I don't have, so we're just gonna have to make do. I'm still really excited to try out the bulk of the products. So let's just jump straight into it. Clip my hair back so we can properly give this a go. As you can probably see, we have a little friend here that is very red and irritated, but it's actually a lot better than it was. So with the base products, give some leeway on this spot. This is very red and something that isn't normal for my skin. So I'm just going to try and ignore this little area of my face when reviewing the products and focus more on sort of my scarring. Speaking of products, the foundation I have is like a tiny bit too dark. I think the undertone's good. Picking shades online is always really difficult. I've just got my fingers crossed. It will definitely suit me in a few months' time when it is a little bit warmer and I have a tiny bit more colour on my face. This was actually a freebie, I didn't buy this. I have the Always an Optimist Illuminating Primer. It's just a little mini version, which I think is lovely to try because I wasn't sure if I'd like it. I'm just going to take 2 pumps of that and rub it between my fingers and apply it to my whole face. One reason I love Rare Beauty is the mission sort of behind the brand. Everything is so positive. I love that she also donates quite a lot of money to charity, which is always great to see. It's just a very positive atmosphere for makeup, which can be quite toxic sometimes. That was quite thin. It was very hydrating. It feels more like a moisturizer that has a little bit of pearl in it. I think that's quite nice and it's soaked in really easily, so my skin doesn't feel very like slippy or anything. So next I have the Liquid Touch Weightless Foundation in 180W. I think the packaging is very cute and simple for all these products. I'm gonna give this a shake because can you hear that? It is very liquidy. I can hear it moving in the bottle. So it says a foundation elixir that feels barely there while building coverage and boosting your natural glow. I'm not too worried with this looking a little bit too dark for me then. If it is a bit more of a weightless finish, it shouldn't be too heavy looking and then make the shade difference that noticeable. And it has a doe foot applicator that is quite big, which I think makes application quite mess free, and as long as you're applying it on yourself, there's no problems with hygiene. I don't know how much I need, so I'm just going to do that. Another purchase that I was very excited by was the brushes. I was really annoyed the blush brush wasn't on Space NK. I hope they bring that out eventually. I did pick up the foundation and concealer brush because I've just heard so many good things about them. And it's such a unique shape that I have never tried. So I'm just going to use that. Oh, it's really soft, the brush. Okay, that colour, fine. I have no problems actually. Oh, I love this brush. I'm definitely going to be trying this with foundations other than the Rare Beauty one. You know what? I'm surprised at the amount of coverage and colour that actually added to my skin for the description. Definitely you can still see a little bit of scarring. It's toned down a lot of that spot, which is really good for how thin it felt. And I think that colour is actually okay. It works quite well. I'm not sure how I feel about the finish and like the texture of the formula. From a distance, it looks really nice, I think. But when I get close up, look at how it looks on my forehead. It just looks like it's separated. So I don't know if as I wear it, it's one of them that is gonna just get better. At the moment, I don't know how I feel. I'm gonna try and layer a tiny bit more actually, because it does feel like it's almost set down, which is interesting. Okay, I feel like that has added a tiny bit more coverage, but just to see what happens, I'm going to take my sponge and dab that all over to see if that helps with sort of any separation. It doesn't look heavy looking, it just doesn't look like it's meshing with my skin, which I have heard a few reviews about, like Some people it's very inconsistent with how it sits on their skin. Like sometimes it will sit perfectly and then sometimes it will just not look like one with their skin. But it's strange, from a distance, by I mean distance, not that far, maybe a meter or just a bit less, it looks really nice. It's just when you get up close, then you can start seeing the sort of formula. Looks a bit interesting. That shade match is actually perfect. I don't know if it's like adapted to my skin color, but the shade match is perfect. So I think maybe I was actually a bit too quick to judge that. Now I'm going to take the Liquid Touch Brightening Concealer in 170W, which looks a lot lighter than just one shade, but this is the sort of shade I like for concealer, so I think I actually did quite a good job at picking that. I'm going to try and blend that out with the concealer brush, which just is like a smaller version of the foundation brush, but it does it really good for getting under the eye. It's a lovely shape. I don't normally use concealer brushes, so I do think I'm gonna end up going in with the sponge. I'll do the bulk of the work with the concealer brush. Okay, and I'm gonna just go in with the sponge. Just works a lot quicker. That is definitely brightening and had sort of a medium coverage. You can still see some dark circles, I think. I think it looks really nice and it does sit on my skin nicer than the foundation is. I think the foundation is just clinging to any single dry patch I have, and I don't even have a lot of dry patches at the moment, but it seems to be finding them. But I think that concealer has just smoothed over everything really nicely and just looks very smooth around my eyes. As I don't have the powder, so they didn't have it on Space NK, I'm just going to take my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless and set the concealer. Set with that powder, the concealer looks even nicer. I think I really like that concealer. And to be honest, for products that don't boast about coverage, I think they've toned down the sort of redness from that spot quite well and covered quite a bit of my acne scarring, so I'll give them that. Just to add some quick colour to my face, I also do not have a bronzer. I'm just going to take my Chanel cream bronzer and just put that sort of in the perimeters because I need bronzer and I won't be able to give this a fair test if I don't have bronzer. Just sculpted the face a little bit and just gave it a little bit more warmth. I picked up 2 of the blushes because I feel like that's quite a big selling point for Rare Beauty. Got one of the Stay Vulnerable Melting blushes and the Soft Pinch Dewy Liquid blush. I don't know which shade is going to best go with the lip I have because it's quite bright. The Melting blush is so cute. So it comes in this little pale pink pot and look at that. That is really cute. And the Soft Pinch Dewy Liquid Blush, I've seen a lot about these and how pigmented they are. So here it is. This one is in Joy and this is in Nearly Neutral. I'm gonna go with the Melting Blush just because of the lip color. I think it will go with it best. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure what the best way to apply this. I'm just gonna take my finger. What a nice color. It does feel sort of melting. I get what it means. Oh, it sort of goes into a powdery finish that I can like buff out with my fingers. That was really easy to apply, like really easy. I didn't even use a brush. For someone that is like devoted to her brush and sponge, I'm never a finger makeup girl. That is really easy to use and sort of leaves a powdery finish, to be honest, but not powdery. It just sort of sets down. I'm gonna see if I can build it up with my sponge. I'm just gonna stamp my sponge into it, and I think you get more pigment with the sponge, but they do sort of take the same amount of time, I think, to apply. I feel like the intensity of this one is quite customizable depending on how I apply and how much I want to apply, which I like because I do feel like this liquid one is going to be intense. I just have a feeling. Whereas I've built this one up to a decent amount, but I could have had it more toned down and I could probably build this up more. I like that. That was nice. That was really nice to apply in something a little bit different. I don't have a formula like that in my collection, so that is interesting. I've got their Brow Harmony Pencil and Gel in Rich Taupe. This is quite an interesting product because it has gel on one end and pencil on the other. It's quite a big pencil, so warning you that if you're a micro pencil. I'm gonna go grab a brush that has a spoolie on the end of it because I feel like I'll need it. Okay, so to begin with, I'm gonna sort of apply and swap between these two. I think that has like a good amount of pigmentation and softness. It isn't very precise, it just more lays down the colour. You can't sort of draw individual hairs with it. It won't do that. This is more for someone that just wants to add a little bit of definition and bulk to their eyebrow instead of drawing in individual hairs. This is the sort of pencil that I did actually use for years before I swapped to like a micro pencil. So I do know sort of how to work with them. It's very easy and quick to work with, and that's what I like about these sort of pencils. But yeah, you can't be very precise with them. And if you want to be, you do need a really delicate hand. I am going very light with this pencil, and with the amount of pigment I'm getting from it, it makes me think it would last me a really long time because I'm not using a lot of it to sort of just do my eyebrows. Yeah, I think this would last me for ages. I really like this, and this colour is perfect for my eyebrows. Like, this is perfect. Yeah, so if you have a look, I think my eyebrows look really nice and just defined, not too precise, but I don't think they look blocky either. And I hope you can see, I didn't really use a lot of the product at all. I feel like that would last me forever. And now I'm gonna try a bit of the gel. I never normally use coloured gel, so I'm just gonna be really careful. Because of that, I don't like to get it everywhere. I'm very messy with gel. I'm going back in with the concealer brush to sort of clean up where I've got the gel above, and really great brush for that. I recommend that. Okay, so I think the gel is what made that sort of a bit more fussy for me. I could see myself using the pencil and just chucking it on with no problems, whereas the gel, I'm finding myself like wanting to clean up around them, and it's just made them look that little bit more intense. So I think I would use the pencil a bit more sort of everyday or simpler looks, and then maybe reach for the gel if I'm going to have a heavier eye or something. I do like being able to customize like that, but because I'm using so little of the gel, I don't think it has that much hold on my eyebrows because there's not a lot of product in them. But I'm happy with how they look. I think the gel has just made them quite dark. Let me do my mascara so I can get an idea of how it actually looks, because eyebrows on a bare face just always looks crazy. So I have the Perfect Strokes Universal Volumizing Mascara. Here it is. It feels quite weighty. It feels quite nice. And it's quite a big tube. So there's the wand. It's quite fat. It looks quite nice. And I've heard good things about this mascara, so I'm just gonna blink it into my eyelashes and I'll show you. Okay, yes, so for one quick coat that I applied really quickly, that has built up really nicely. I think it's very grippy in the sense that it sort of is applying to every single hair and separating them, which I like. So I feel like it is quite volumizing, but it isn't then clumping my eyelashes together. Like, I have short eyelashes and I think these look quite nice and adds a lot of attention to my eye area. I'm gonna stop there, and I've got some on my eyelids, so I'm just gonna let that dry and then I'll flick it off. But I really like that, and it's balanced my eyebrows out a lot. I like that. Yeah, overall, eyebrow and eyelash region I think looks really nice. I'm just adding a tiny bit more of the blush to sort of balance it out. Now I've done eyebrows and eyelashes. And finally, I have the Lip Soufflé Matte Lip Cream, and I got it in this bright colour. I wasn't really sure what colour to get. They were very bright colours all the time. So this is Motivate. She's bright. And I don't have a colour like this, so this should be interesting. I'm just going to apply it. It feels like a NYX soft matte lip cream, which takes me back to being like 14, because that's when I would buy them. Actually, it just feels a little bit more moussier. Okay, so although the shade is quite bright, I definitely built it up to sort of get to this level. I could have just done one layer, and it would be less intense and a little bit more wearable. But I don't think it's neon or anything. It's just like a hot pink. Like, it doesn't look anywhere near as bright as the tube. You know how some liquid lips apply and it looks like you're literally painting your lips with a very high pigment shade? This feels thinner and sort of easier to layer. It feels really moussey, but it does look matte, but it doesn't feel matte at all. It's a really interesting texture. I think like matte souffle or like soft matte lip cream is a really good way to describe it. I wonder with that texture though, because it doesn't sort of feel set down, it almost feels like a matte lip balm. I wonder if it will wear off quite quickly. In all honesty, so far, I think I have enjoyed every product apart from the foundation. The foundation is just sitting weird on my skin. My forehead just doesn't look good. And I know I said my chin was a bit of a problem at the moment, but that's a good example of where it's sticking to dry patches. And I don't even have anything dry on my forehead, but it's just separating. I'm just not a big fan of it. I'm gonna give it more of a go. Maybe it was the primer underneath that did it. But this is how the rest of the makeup looks. I really like the eyebrow product, mascara. Blush was really pretty. I'm excited to try the other one. The concealer looks so much nicer than the foundation in the areas I applied it. Like around my eyes, looks so smooth. And this lip product is really comfortable. And I don't think it's actually that bright. I think this is low-key wearable. And then brushes were really soft and blended everything really nicely. So I am really intrigued to try the newer products, such as like the bronzer and the powder. If we do get them products in the UK, I'll be sure to do first impressions of them. But yeah, at the moment, I liked everything I tried. I haven't formed enough of an opinion to say love yet, apart from the foundation. I will give it more of a try and I'll keep you guys updated on how it wears, or I found a different technique that makes it look a lot nicer. Hello everyone, it has been a few hours of wearing this makeup, so I thought I'd pop in and actually show you how it's wearing. I really like how it's looking. A lot of the products are holding up really well, and to be honest, this foundation is looking nice. It is looking nicer than when I put it on. The separation has sort of actually gone. It's not separated anymore. At most I've got a bit shiny, but I don't mind that. I think it looks quite nice and healthy. I'm gonna set it down with just a tiny bit of my powder just to see how it would touch up, because I didn't put any powder on my face and I also didn't put any setting spray, so it's sort of expected for that to happen. As well, blush is holding up really nicely. I had a whole meal and everything, and the lip product is still there, which is really good for the sort of texture it was. It's almost left like a stain. Yep, I like how that foundation's looking. Now I've worn it for a bit longer, so I'm definitely going to keep trying it out and playing around with it, just to see if I can make myself like it on first application instead of having to wear it in a bit. The concealer is also holding up amazingly. It's like, it's not creased at all. It looks so nice. And yep, I'm really happy with that concealer. Mascara hasn't smudged at all. So far, everything is looking really nice. Actually, one discrepancy is the brow gel. I really like the pencil, but I think I sort of mentioned this before about the gel, because I'm not using a lot of the gel. It's not exactly holding my eyebrows in place, it's just tinting them. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. Anyway, that's my little check-in, and back to me earlier on. That is all. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe for future videos. Also, check me out on Instagram at Time to Put My Face On if you enjoy sort of product photography, swatches and reviews. I hope to see you guys again in the next one. Bye!